Everybody, either you're seeing it live or you're seeing the replay, but I am here next to this gorgeous creature, Amy Contreras, who is a friend, a colleague, a soul sister, definitely. If any of you saw my broadcast with Desiree Marie Lito, Amy, Desiree, and I, all three of us, met through a coaching program that we were doing online, and we kind of became the good version of the three amigos and the non-corrupt version of the three amigos. And we then collaborated on the inspiration for Body, Soul, Beauty, the whole idea of it. And you're going to hear today from Amy. I'm going to read her bio in a minute, but I just am so thrilled to have her because she is such a wonderfully spiritual being, and her path over the last few years has really evolved from very body-centric to mind-body to really higher elevations, if you will. So she'll tell you all about it. So I'm going to read her bio. Amy is a powerful, intuitive, and spiritual coach. She helps to guide people to their path through the masculine and feminine polarities. Her personalized readings and intuitive coaching leads to expanded awareness through frequency and personal energies to reveal a deep personal voyage behind the client's highest potential. So she can draw that out in you, just as she's been able to draw that out in herself. Amy's mission is to help her clients find their intuitive superpower within, to claim their purpose by simply nurturing the soul and removing old beliefs. She feels by igniting one's personal energy that will lead to eliminating patterns that no longer serve the client's best interests. Amy's background came from growing up in a metaphysical household. Oh, I love that. She's the daughter of a clairvoyant, and her interest in inherent metaphysical abilities allowed her to develop rather than resist her intuitive skills. Growing up in an exotic plant nursery, she believes there is a special bond between plants, nature, and animals. I agree. After living in Encinitas for 10 years, she left her corporate job to fulfill her career as an intuitive counselor and spiritual coach for a holistic mind, body, and spirit. So we're going to have a link to Amy's website, The Holistic Babe, in LDtvTalk Scoop, which is where we put all the links following the show. But that's quite a bio. And as I said, when I first met Amy, she was building her coaching business very much on a personal journey she was experiencing from a gluten intolerance. So tell us fast. We're going to go back, Amy. We're going to take the clock back, and you tell us where you were and how it got to where you are today.
Sure. So I'm actually going to start when I was a child and where it came from. So when I was really young, growing up in a plant nursery of my parents' business, I used to there was things that I would experience that I didn't really understand. And also I had different rituals that I would do. Every night I would go and hug this tree, this big oak tree, and then do this dance. And my parents would be like, where did she go? And
how old are you when you're doing this?
You know, I'm going to have to ask about how old I was, but I was young. I mean, I remember as a 3, 4, I did it for years. And then I did this dance and my parents would be like, that's not coming from her at all. So I would really just get this energy from holding the tree. And I still hug trees today. I am so connected to nature, and I am so open about it in what I do that it feels so freeing. So I would astro travel after going through my parents' greenhouse, and I would go to this place, and I would go multidimensionally, and that's the only way I can explain it. Because
Were you?
I'm sorry.
Were you scared? Was that a scary experience for you?
It wasn't at the time, and then it became scary because life happens. People are like, you're a weirdo. And, the different things would happen. I'm like, oh, I felt crazy. I would hear spirit talk to me. I would hear people from the other side. I would see things all the time. I thought I had a sister, and she had a little dog, and she was with me. This little girl was with me all the time. And my parents like, you're an only child. I'm like, what? Who's this little girl then? She followed me everywhere. So it happened at a very early age. And then I was terrified of it because it just became stronger and stronger and stronger. And so that's where it was when I was a child. And I really want to make a point that small children and children come in knowing. They already know what is happening. They have this all knowing intuitive third eye that's been unzipped, and they are so high frequency. They're high vibe. And if we can just train our children to keep listening to that, that is a beautiful thing. So for moms out there who are raising their children, allow them to be who they are. And my parents did. It just came from outside sources. And then
I can imagine that not everybody would recognize that and be accepting of that. I've had, because I'm somebody who is very open to all possibilities. I'm not willing to close the door on anything. And I've met people who've been contacted. I've met people who read other people. I've met true clairvoyants. I'm not here to judge them at all. I am open and willing to listen. But, you tell people something like that, and automatically their mind jumps to, she's freaking nuts.
yes.
And I think if you take a child who is clearly gifted and connected to the quantum field, and you shut them down, then that whole door closes, as you said. So you are so lucky that your parents allowed you to be who you were. But of course, then naturally, I guess, circumstances led other people to say, oh no. So when did that happen? When did that third eye close for you?
I would say when I was in high school, that third eye just closed, and it would open and close and open and close. And I'm very, my mediumship when I was younger was very strong. And then it just closed down because, again, it scared me. I didn't understand it. And I wasn't willing to talk about it because I saw so much and I heard so many things. So that I also really take into my practice, because if I can write a letter to myself as a small child, I would say everything is going to be okay. Everything that you see is valid, and validation of that portion. But it closed up, and then it opened up through my years of, and there was some trauma back then. And, then that is held internally into your cells, and it was held inside of my womb space. And what I experienced was a whole kind of snowball effect of different things. So depression, anxiety, and many other things that I didn't understand. Well, what that was is I was suppressing so much and I wasn't living in my true authentic vibrancy, and the frequency I wasn't allowing either. So it just continued till I just got sick and tired of being sick. I sold advertising in Los Angeles and was selling Yellow Book. I went to a voodoo doctor in Inglewood who was one of my accounts. And I said, she looked at me, she's like, honey, what is going on with you? And she said, you're all blocked. And she saw that she's like, spirit's trying to talk to you. And so when she said that, I'm like, you're right. I do understand.
Oh, interesting. So she basically was identifying your physical ailment as a result of blocked energy.
Yes. And so she put me on this special tinctures that she created. She gave me these teas and we just did this detox and I opened up again. And again, I couldn't explain it, but I knew that it was coming out. And then I started eating bad again and I started gaining weight. I mean, I had gained 50 pounds eating. Mm-hmm. 50.
You?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm in shock. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to believe, but it was all inflammation. And I went 6 years ago, I went to a blood doctor and I said, what's going on with me? She took a blood sample and she showed me on the screen and she's like, these are your cells. If you don't change your life right now, you're going down just a really bad pathway. She says, you have celiacs and this is why. It looked like my cells were bleaching from the inside out and they were connected. And so I can actually post that because I just posted that on my stories this week just to share with everybody.
Oh, yeah, please do. We'll put it on Scoop. Send me the link when we're done with the interview.
Yeah, it changed my life. After that day, I said, okay, I'm totally, and I can think of where I was at about 6-7 years ago. I was just trying to find answers because nothing was working. I went vegan. I was vegetarian for 17 years. It just wasn't working. And finally, I got to the bottom of it and realized I had all of these allergies and gluten intolerances to apples, rice, potatoes, tomatoes, which I already knew. And then gluten, all gluten, soy, and I changed my life. And it's been amazing since then because not only have I listened to my gut intuition now that I can hear it, but it's also cleared up my inflammation. And again, here and again, I get some different breakouts or I'll get glutened and it's kind of painful. It takes about 2 months to really clear. But it is one of those things that is, I can identify with it and I understand where it's coming from. But I've guided my career into helping others. And at the time we met at the time where I wanted to help everybody who had any type of intolerances.
Right. I remember the blood test that you had available through your site. And I, of course, remember your dedication to the gluten intolerance. I remember that.
Another thing that was really a struggle for me was that I could not gain any muscle. I couldn't lose weight for a certain amount of time because I had an over estrogen, levels. I had different inflammation that just wouldn't allow me to really build. And I started doing fitness competitions. And so when I've always studied holistic medicine or holistic nutrition, anything of holistic. So I went back to my roots of that and then got certified and became a personal trainer and then also a holistic weight loss specialist so that I can help others who have the same problem. And that's where I was when we first met too, just inundated on helping others who have this issue, who are just so sick and tired of being tired and sick.
Right. No energy, can't lose weight, can't build muscle, can't tolerate a lot of foods.
Yes.
So, are you,
Painful to eat.
what, Aim?
When it's painful to eat,
Oh,
too.
yeah, absolutely. So, will you just make sure that when we're through and you send over the links to the show for the scoop, can you please make sure that you have something on there that allows people to read about that aspect if they're suffering from, what you just described, that they can contact you and still get help in that arena.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
The thing that I do now is a little bit more extensive. So I like to call it herbal astrology, because what I do is I take somebody's chart and I see what they have within them and where they were born, because this is in my chart. And it's kind of fascinating, but it's going to actually be clairvoyant to me and transparent once I do your chart. So I do your chart, I create herbs suggestions, supplement suggestions, and then also put you on a meal plan that's going to work for you. Not something that you are going to feel like you miss out on all your foods that you love eating, but as alternatives. So that's something that I offer that I'll send a link to as well.
All right, that's great. That's very much in keeping with something that I try to do as when I do a human design reading, because it's all connected. Your energy and just the type you are and everything really dictates a lot of how you can manage your energy and have your energy flow the right way. And once you get that energy going, as you know, it's life changing.
It is life changing with the right supplements, and your body changes, shifts, and just to see your body living at optimal level of energy, it's a game changer. A
Yeah,
game
sure.
changer. And as you know, I mean, we just talked about this. It's like you're reversing, you find the fountain of youth and you're reversing your aging process. I mean, I'm just like baffled. I like to tell people I'm in my 40s and I've never felt better. And I'm ready to post pictures. It was kind of a scary thing. Every once in a while I'll post pictures where I was at before, but I'll post pictures for you guys too.
Really? Okay, great.
I've got to find them, but I'm like round face, like it's so bizarre. I'm like, who is that?
I bet because, well, since we've met, you've not been any different. I mean, you've changed your hair shorter, but that's all. And I can't believe that you're going to tell me you were 50 pounds heavier, or that you did tell me you're 50 pounds heavier. I want to see those pictures. Did you find that when you began to eliminate the gluten, did you experience a change almost overnight, or did it take a long time?
It took a good 5 months.
Yeah.
I saw a difference in the first 60 days.
Uh-huh.
90 days people noticed, and then I really felt a difference in about 5, 6 months.
But you knew you were on the right path right away?
Yes. Yes. First month I was like, I've never felt this good. I've never slept this well.
Good.
I was sleeping to the height of my discomfort. And that's what it is. It's just it's a discomfort in your body, which creates disease. And dis-ease is just something that creates in your body. And I do feel like I can heal this within myself. And I still know that I can get rid of it completely. I know that I can. And I know it.
You're pretty vigilant, though, dietary wise, correct?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I actually gave up pizza for 2019, and I'm counting the days before I can have a slice in 2020, but I'm really vigilant I take kindness to what I eat, because everything is intentional and conscious.
Yeah.
And it's a conscious effort to that.
Yeah, I had Mindy Gorman Plutzer on one of the shows, and she is a psychologist and a nutritionist. So she talks about her business is all about the relationship between you and food. And she talks about honoring the food you eat and being in a mindful state while you're eating as part of the process. And really very important to the relationship you have with food is the psychological aspect of how you honor what you're eating, how you give time to the food and thanks to the food that you're eating. And that it's not just, an experience where you're gulping something down or you're doing something because you've got these hunger pains. So it's all fascinating. And I'm sure in 2020, we're going to be spending a lot more time on it because you find food allergies, food intolerances, diets. There's something that everybody has a story around and they're fascinated by. So we want to make sure that we're bringing people on who can add that substance behind either the psychological aspect of eating or how you treat an insensitivity or a sensitivity that you might have to food and how you move away from that and energize your body as a result.
And to add to that, food has a frequency just like we have. And so, I tell my clients, you want to feed your frequency and you want to fuel your body in a way that is frequent to you. And I teach people how to use their spiritual indicators, and I call them the superpowers, because I think you and I were talking about this too the other day, when some of us have gut intuition, but oh, can you hear me?
You were breaking up a little. I think you're back.
Okay. Some of us will have gut intuition. Some of us will have throat intuition. Some of us will have third eye intuition, but you have to feed that frequency. So I teach people how to use their superpower into finding what food is actually for them, because you can ask your body, does this serve me? And you can feel that push or pull in that yes or no. And if it's a no, don't eat it, even if it's healthy. If it's, I always say, ask a tomato, can I eat you? Are you of my highest greater good? And I've been told no. And come to find out, I'm intolerant to tomatoes. So
interesting.
Yeah, our bodies know, and our bodies have this frequency already to food. So being conscious to that even more so is just so powerful to feed and fuel your frequency so it doesn't dull your intuitiveness too.
Yeah. I ate something bad this morning, but I didn't feel badly about it.
Oh, I like chocolate. Okay, I'll use chocolate as an example.
That's not bad, Amy.
No, it's not. I am so, even when I eat a muffin, I'm like, yes, I honor you for the amazing taste,
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I know that's great. So here you are. We're fast tracking. You drop the weight. You're feeling great. You've got the holistic babe going.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you move and take the shift from something so physically centric to back to the intuitive? Was it your mom? Because I know
No, it wasn't. It actually was, as far as my business goes, you're asking?
How did you move from one to another?
Wasn't aligned anymore. It just, I had Feel Fit by Amy. I had clients online, and I just couldn't relate to it anymore because it was shifting and I couldn't fully have that intuitiveness, because It was a package deal where you get rid of your baggage, and it wasn't just a physical entity. It's not like, here, anybody can lose weight, but it was the emotional journey that you have to go to. So one day I just had a talk with myself and I was like, who am I? And that's really how you and I met, was the process of me creating that too. It's like, who am I? And I was like, I'm holistic, and I'm just going through all of these things. And I'm like, oh yeah, hey, holistic babe, that's me. And I just was like, that's me. I am a full entity of this umbrella of different things that I can offer. And that's where the shift is I was like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not just a person who has this business, who works for other people. I have this service, and I'm intuitive, and I have so much to offer, and I have so much of a path that I can share with people. So that's where the shift went. As soon as I shifted over, it was so aligned. It was like, this is it. This is it. And then I just made it a brand, and I trademarked. And I mean, it has been, this year has been powerful. And do you really want this? Spirit's like, is this what you really want? And I'm like, yes, it is. I
And
cannot go away from it.
you actually have your own business in your home now, and
Yes. So I've got a wellness studio, and it's attached. There's a private entrance, and we've created this whole space. And yeah, and I mean, it's a full-time thing, and it's wonderful.
yeah, that's great. And of course, Jen Goldman, who was on the show,
Love
and um, she's been able to really do things on her terms and have this really fascinating backstory. And I can just say, from observing the people that I've had on the show and listening to their story, that they've all had a situation where there's been a moment in their life where everything comes together and there's a choice, and they've elected to take that path that has led them to not only to success, but to a real authentic, exfoliation of who they really are. It's this, they've come out of this shell, and they've transformed because they've accepted their authentic self, and they're living in their authentic self. And when I talk about human design with somebody, people are like, what? I have to wait to respond? In a lot of cases, and I always say, look, you can be successful not waiting to respond. It's not about that, but it's about the power of waiting to respond, and how much more you are energetically when you follow that. That's all. Of course, you can be successful either way, but your success comes more authentically when you live in your design. So I think that that's something that everybody has really kind of reached a point where they've stepped into that, and they've seen this great success, and they're much more comfortable because they're not resisting. And I think that that is, when you kind of, as you said, get in alignment and you're not resisting, is when everything really just blossoms. So I'm so glad. So, so tell us a little bit. I know that when you were creating the website, Holistic Babe, you added the whole aspect of intuitive readings, and now I know it's really grown, Amy, into into much more. So tell us about has evolved and what else you do if somebody wants to work with you on an intuitive level.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you how this evolved with working with my mother, who is a clairvoyant, and that has been an alignment. I mean, talk about alignment. You and I had a human design meeting, and you told me wait to respond, and I will tell you that has been my biggest, best advice of my life, because I was so alpha where I'm like, oh, I want to get this done. I'm just going to get this done. Okay, I'm going to sell advertising. Okay, I'm going to sell advertising. But none of that was in alignment. So when I did this, I fell into alignment because I waited to respond and I listened to you, and I so much stuff. So working with my mom and working now in the Boise area, Spirit said to me last year, it's time to work in Boise. You're supposed to go to Boise. Lynn, all of my previous, I can't even believe this, all of the previous contracts that I was doing conscious PR for other people, they ended. They just fell away. They were like, okay, you're done. It's not a matter of, oh, we're going to wait this out of when you want to get done with this in 6 months. It's you're done. So I'm like, okay. In 1 month, I said to my mom, who was living in California at the time, Spirit says, we need to go and do a workshop in Boise. And she's like, really? And I invested all this money to go to do a big workshop at the Riverside Hotel in Boise. Everything fell into place. I mean, it was the best workshop. We started doing mother-daughter psychic group readings. We would fill the room. We've sold out of almost every single group reading. I mean, it was aligned. Spirit was like, finally, you listen to me. Finally, you listen to me. And, it was just so beautiful. And then I was still thinking like, how do I do this here? Because in Encinitas, where I'm at, I kept looking for a place to work out of. Oh, here's a studio over here. Let me see if I can rent a space. And they're like, no. Guess what? Spirit says, Amy, you need to bring it within your temple. Oh, I have chills. Like, I almost want to cry. They're like, no. You need to bring it inside and within you before anything, because you need to believe that this is for you and we are supporting you. So as soon as I said, okay, I'm creating a wellness studio, and this wellness studio is going to have retail, it's going to have life coaching, and really it's spiritual coaching. And it's just like, guess what? You're going to start bringing crystals in. I mean, the Lemurians, I started working with.
I forgot to order. I need to have one of those crystals like you're wearing.
Oh my gosh. So I have these. These are the Lemurians, and I work with Lemurian energy, which the Lemurian energy is so purifying, cleansing. It helps you to connect your spiritual growth. It helps your dream state, helps your downloads. It's the purest energy ever. So I started working with Sharon Stone. And ever since Sharon Stone came to me about a year ago, she's been in my family. So my mom gave her to me. And it's been it's been a life changer.
Gorgeous stone. Does it help get you into theta? I need to get into theta.
Yes. And then she has
send me a big one.
Said, oh, you know what? I'll show you pictures of the ones that I have. And then my import didn't. That's a long story. But yeah, Sharon Stone. I will. Sharon Stone has a boyfriend, and this is Thoreau Jackson. Thoreau Jackson goes and gets lost in meditation centers. I mean, there's so much that you can't even make up. You can't make it up.
But you named your stone. It's
all of them. Sorry?
I can't believe you named your crystals.
I didn't name it. they talk to me. So Sharon Stone, I was sleeping, and all of a sudden I hear a woman's voice, and I'm like, hello, is someone here? And I go, it was in the middle of the night, and I go out to the living room. I'm like, hello? And she goes, hello, I'm over here. And I'm like,
I would die.
I was like, hello? Hello. And I was like, are you talking to me? And she's like, yes. Now, I've never had other stones talk to me. Sharon was the first. I said, what is your name? She goes, Sharon. And she has a very distinctive voice. And I was like, your name is Sharon? She goes, no, but you can call me Sharon. And I said, well, what's your last name? Do you have a last name? She says, Stone. And she kind of giggled. And I'm like, what? Am I making this up? And so my mom had mentioned that, this stone specifically talks to her all the time. And I didn't know that. And so she goes, I want to sleep with you by your pillow so we can connect. And I'm like, okay. It's like, I've heard it all, and I'm like, are you a spirit from the other side? She's like, I'm from Lemuria. And I'm, yes, you are. So she's been my helper stone. She's been my healer. I do crystal healings as well. So I have a full setup where somebody can come, and I've got a grid that I put with this gemstone that heats up. I mean, Sharon is hot all the time. I'll pick her up and I'm like, okay, it's freezing. Why are you hot? And she's been working. So Lemurians just came to me in alignment. I found an import so easily and effortlessly. It's just alignment, the alignment. I waited to respond.
It sounds amazing. You waited to respond to Sharon. That's great.
And she said, more are coming. And I'm like, okay.
And you can respond to your post on LDtvTalk. I love it.
Yes. And so these also.
Go ahead. So you started working with crystals in your business.
Yes. And so then I started selling crystals, and I got the Lemurian pendants in, and they all started talking to me. So they would tell me their names, and I'm like, what is your name? And then I would look up the name, because I'm like, what name is this? Like, one Samara, one was all these names. And what was interesting is other people who would see these, I would write down the names that they would tell me, and they'd say, one of those crystals told me their name, and it was, David, or it was some other name, and I'm like, those are the names I wrote down. So they're also speaking to other people. I had two Lemurians that were about 3.5 inches, and they were to go together, and it was Henrietta and Louis. And I'm like, what? I look up their names, and their names mean such beautiful things. So that's how it works.
I absolutely love it. So if we were working together, doing, say, some coaching sessions, and you were doing crystals, is it something that we would set an intention, we'd work specifically on a certain aspect, or would it just be something that would evolve organically out of our sessions?
With my spiritual coaching, I really sit with that person's. We have a consultation beforehand, and then we go through, and I ask spirit, what is it that is needed to bring to the surface within their frequency, and I'll sit ahead of time before they come, and then I'll make notes, and then I'll sit with them at the time that we meet, and just listen to their conversation and how they're speaking and what they need. And then I'll create a customized coaching program. So a lot of people are coming to me who need just that foundation, where they're in transition, where they're in this spiritual authority block, and they need that to be unblocked, where they're just saying yes to everybody and not yes to themselves. There's so many different ways where they're kind of playing a role that's not really made for their human design, essentially.
Yeah.
So they're playing the opposite role because they've been forced into this, and now they can't, they have super bad anxiety or depression, or they've got all these indicators that are telling them or ringing in their ears. And so it's nice to hear that, because that helps me hear what their superpower is, what's blocked and what's trying to unblock, because your body already knows. It knows how to do it. It's now just bringing your mind and your body connection together. So I help them individually with a customized program. It's not like a one size fits all, but I do have a spiritual support group coming up that is going to be something where it's a curated conversation we talk with every single month in a group. So that's more like a basic foundation where we go through each thing and we talk about it.
Do you incorporate meditations or healings, sound healings, or anything like that within your coaching program? If you were coaching somebody through this in order to have their frequency lifted?
Absolutely. So when we meet one-on-one, there's always some portion of, I have these clapping sticks too that was given to me by this Indian gentleman. And so I get rid of any type of blocks. I can cut all contracts and the etheric level from past lives that they may be holding on to free them up. I do sound healing. I've got worker crystals that will have him or her hold, and then we set the intention of working with that crystal. A lot of the crystals just tell me which ones needed to be worked with at the time. And then we kind of just work through a visualization with the meditation.
Great. And how long do your programs usually last?
I like to do 3 to 4 months in the beginning, just so that we can really get you dialed into, and then we can do another 3 months. But I really like to work with 3 months at a time on something specific, and then we'll recalibrate and reconnect on what else somebody would like to work on. I have coaching program clients that have been with me for a full year because they just want to continue. And then they're month to month where they'll say, I agree on the whole year. But a lot of it is just really because they feel so connected and they do feel heard and valued and supported.
Mm-hmm.
Then they want to continue working together. And I'm honored by that.
That's great. So you do once a month or once every couple of weeks, or how does it usually work?
I do twice a month. So I do
a month for 6 months. That's a lot.
Yeah, so twice a month, where it'll be a shorter schedule. It'll be more of a 40-minute meetup or over the phone. Then they have some homework to work on. I have a lot of business clients who are working towards building their business, and they're working through a bunch of fears that they're just terrified of that are holding them back. So a lot of the women who are coming to me are just working through something like that. And once we get past that block, it's like the gates open and the doors just flood open of creativity.
That's amazing. That's just great.
So we do like a plan of action on what their homework is, what they need to be doing. So it's more intentional, and then they feel supported moving through their business, and they're working on one business aspect of a meeting. And then the second one is going to be a spiritual aspect, like what's going on inside of you.
So what would homework look like for somebody who was trying to get their business in order and had a lot of fear?
If they have a lot of fear, so I always make somebody do something that they've never done. Whether it's somebody who Ultimately, it's everybody who's afraid of being seen, really. So I make them do some type of video or post a picture or, do a live. We pick something that is so terrifying and I just make them do it. First, I make them write out a script and write a letter to themselves like, this is going to be okay, and write a letter to their future self. And then we create something as, what does your day look like? Your perfect day. And once they start realizing that the possibilities are endless, they're more open to do the picture, the video, get themselves out there, let themselves be seen, because that's what ultimately I think we're all afraid of. In the beginning, you're like, I don't want to be seen. People are going to see me.
Well, there's that study that they did where, people are less fearful of death than they are public speaking. I don't get that, but, I enjoy it, but I am in the minority. Most people are terrified of putting themselves out there. I love it. I think it's fun. So
yeah,
that's the Leo in me.
That's what I love about you, though, because you're so good at it too, and you're just charismatic.
I find it fun, and as a kid, I never stopped talking, and I never stopped talking as an adult. So I like talking to people now. It just I share the love. I share the talking love. So what's next for you in terms of how you feel your goals for 2021? You've gone inside, you were physical, mental, spiritual. Now you're other people to do this. What's next? Well, how are you going to expand your business? What is Spirit telling you about next year?
Yeah, Spirit has actually told me many times that I'm going to do more media. So that is my expansion of getting to the masses. So it's more media, just bigger reach on curated conversations like this. It's like a conversation piece that can be used for people with resources and just sharing the love. I feel more public speaking. I see it, actually. I see summits, I see festivals, I see whatever it may be on a topic that is, tough for people, because 2020 energetically is beyond anything any of us can imagine.
That's what I've been told.
I have chills. It is 2020 vision. The whole year is going to be manifesting for the rest of your life. There's a stellium event happening in January around the 11th, 12th.
Yes.
Has not happened in 500 years.
Yeah.
The portal now, and also today, which is a kind of a fun fact. So today is an 11/11 portal today. Mercury's gone retrograde in 11 degrees. And so this also gives you like a little snapshot. So today, whatever your goals are or you're visioning, envision big, because anything is possible, and that caring and kindness, just imagine all of that, within yourself. And it's just beautiful today. So
that's great. Mercury's actually going direct.
Yes, in 11 degrees. So it's today.
It's going direct, I think, at 2:12 p.m. in New York, which is, I think so, or 2:11. So that will be
perfect.
Yeah, that will be really exciting. For those of you who don't know about Mercury in retrograde, just Google it.
That has a lot to do with the mind stuff. So it's like if anybody has felt that Mercury retrograde, that push and pull backwards, it's to make you wait to respond. It's
totally.
And it has to do with all the mind stuff.
It absolutely is that teacher to remind you to wait to respond. So it's
Yeah.
going direct today. I'm feeling energized. I was awake. I couldn't sleep, and I usually sleep really well. I couldn't sleep. The energy was so strong. It's like, go direct already. Let's get our lives back. I need a new phone. So, I certainly wasn't going to touch a new phone during Mercury. Right? No way. So sad.
Maybe that's why you lost it.
It is. It's like, where is it? Oh, anyway, this is great. So, retreats, summits, speaking engagements.
Yes.
Maybe your own show, Amy.
Ooh,
I am going to have in a couple weeks Allison Sherwood on, and you need to meet her.
Yes.
She is in Pasadena now.
Oh.
So when you go up to LA, you can see her. She is amazing. She is, she's an intuitive. She has a website called Deep Rooted Woman.
Oh, I'll have to look at that.
And she also creates the most spectacular malas. So she's created, I bought myself 2 of them last year for Christmas. And I bought myself another one.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Gorgeous, huh?
Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. This one I bought when I started the show. I knew I was launching the show, and she had it on Facebook page, and I wrote to her and I said, I must have it. And then she does intentions. She'll set the intention under the moon. So she did this one for the success of the show. I can't imagine anybody watching this particular episode and not being kind of akin to, what are they talking about? And I need to find out more about this because, we're on this wavelength, guys, and you got to hop on this bandwagon.
Yes.
Frequency, definitely. Raise that frequency. So we're going to get to the lightning round.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you the lightning round question. So you're in a great position. You're really happy with where Holistic Babe is?
Love it.
Okay.
I wake up every day and I'm like, this is the best day of my life.
Isn't that so great?
Oh,
I mean, guys, if you could go back 4 years, Amy, Desiree, and I were searching, but we have gotten our answers from the universe.
yes.
Okay, definitely, huh? A person that has inspired you or inspires you, and why?
I would say my mom inspires me. She is she's kind. She is, I would say my mom and dad. I know you said person, but just, it's like they've been so loving and generous in just guiding me so I can be the best who I can be. But really just the mentorship of even showing me how, the older ways and the newer ways for my mom too is totally different. So I would say I have so many people. Oh my gosh, I would say you're one of them. You've inspired my life in so many ways. Lynn, I truly mean that. It's like
you do, and I love you for it. Thank you.
I love you. I get all emotional.
Me too. I love these bonds. See, guys, the bonds could be formed over technology because Amy and I
I'm teary.
didn't meet each other until Desiree and I did, but not Amy. We did it later. Best business advice you ever received?
Wait to respond. That was the best. I tell people that all the time. Just wait to respond to anything. You don't want to do anything too rash. You want to make sure that it's aligned. But waiting to respond is the biggest advice I have ever, because you feel it in your body with the alignment. Yeah.
And those of you who are watching that say, what in the world is that? We're all programmed to jump ahead, to make decisions before things are thought out, to react, to not be patient, to form opinions. Waiting to respond is an energetic signal to 80% of us or more, that it's hearing people out. It's taking a step back. It's clearing your energy. It's going through
the roses.
Yeah, and it's listening to your body, not over analyzing. So if you want to know more, just PM me. I'll tell you all about it. I love to talk about it, but it's like
needs to get an appointment set with you to get your chart done, because
it's a life-changing experience. It really, really is.
Because it helps you understand your soul path too.
Yeah, totally. It does. It really, really does. Because many of us might be doing something that is so totally not aligned with where we're supposed to be or what we're supposed to be doing. So it's worth checking out. Just PM me. Would you also say that was the best personal or overall advice you ever received?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
And I will say, when the best advice my grandmother had given me too was, when people talk, listen. And I have to say that that's like the quote, everything that Maya Angelou she said, when people talk, listen, because they're telling you their true intentions. And
it's true.
They're using the words on how they feel about themselves and how they feel about others and how they treat others. And so that is like, I always listen to people's dialogue, because it's their inner dialogue, their outer dialogue, how they're going to treat you and everything.
Also, to honor them enough to pay attention to what they feel and what they think, rather than jumping ahead and always having it be about you. An app that you cannot live without.
Is my calculator?
That doesn't count. You have to share something more sexy than that.
I'm like, I was trying to think about, yeah, I'll say
Instagram, queen.
I'll say Instagram. I was going to say, I'll say Instagram.
Okay, Instagram. All right. A person or account our viewers should follow on social media, and why?
So there is an account called Dino Apparel, and it's a sustainable clothing company.
We'll put in the scoop so you'll know.
Yeah, and Suzanne is the owner, and she is so beautiful. She has dedicated her business into living softly. So I have one of her throws and shawls here that is the most beautiful. It's like a baby blanket. It is just the most beautiful piece that I've invested in, that everybody should have one of these.
Oh, good. So I would love that would make a nice Christmas gift to somebody.
Yes, they're great Christmas gifts, but she does such integrity, and she is there from like seed to store. She's there from the very beginning. So it's really special. And whenever I wear it, when I travel, I use it for sleeping too, because I just put it over my eyes and I see the white light. But this is so close to my heart. So that's an account that I would say follow.
Okay, awesome. A charity that people may not be aware of that's doing great things.
Girl Rising is one that I've worked with for a long time. They help with women to be educated as a young child, so that they can make their decisions and understand what's good for them, so that they don't, like a societal thing or any type of cultural thing that they may be led into. It also helps with slavery and children being married off at an early age, so that they're educated in a way that they can really know what to do and what's right and where their rights are.
Great. I know, I'm familiar with them. They do great work.
Great work.
A book, lecture, event, or situation that made a difference in your life.
The Prophet is probably something that made a difference in my life. Just reading it as a child to reading the quotes now, it's just so meaningful. I ruin his name every time.
Gil.
Yeah, Gibran Cahill.
Yes.
I still always think, am I saying it right?
No, I want to say Gilbrand. No, it's Gilbrand Cahill. Yes. One of your favorite quotes. Do you have one? If you don't, we're not going to put you on. If you don't, we won't put you on the spot. If you do, please share it or share one in the scoop later.
I'll share one in the scoop later, but I would definitely say if people talk, listen, that would be, but I'll put it in the scoop later.
All right. That is fantastic. This has been wonderful. Amy,
thank you.
I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to spend 2 minutes kind of previewing where we're going in the next couple of weeks. But let's lead into it right now. Amy is, because of her intuitives and because she's so tuned into all things lunar as well as solar, we are going to have her on to do some shorts for us a couple times a month when we do new moon and full moon. So anyway, that will be fantastic. I think we have some new moon energy coming up next week, don't we?
Yeah, I think because we're in a half a week. Yes, we are.
So in a week, I think we've got set.
That would be fun. And I can do a little bit of channeling too.
Oh, that's great. Okay. All right. Have a beautiful rest of the week.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, great having you. Bye.
Bye.
So Amy's great. She's going to be doing some intuitive readings for you. So we are doing our weekly shows. As I said, Allison Sherwood will be here. Diane DeResta is going to be coming. We are going to have some really, really great people, as we always do, coming up in the next few weeks. But we're adding some lifestyle hacks to the LDTV episodes that we do, and they will be short. They will be not connected to our Wednesday shows. They'll be on Mondays. And then throughout the week, we've got one coming up with Toby Terry, who was our guest for an interview, the creator of Naked Soul Beauty. She's going to be doing beauty tips. So PM me if you want any advice on beauty. And Toby will specifically address that on our program when we do our LDtvTalk beauty shorts on the 9th of December. But before that, because we are all watching our weight around the holidays, Trevor Folgering, who is a fitness and keto coach, is going to be my first male guest, and he is going to be talking about how you can get through the holidays without carb overload. So remember, he is a keto expert, so we're going to be talking how to minimize those carbohydrates, how to get off the sugar and still be satisfied for the holidays, and how to reduce that inflammation. So that is going to be fantastic. And please put your name in the comments with an emoji tonight to register to win. We are going to be giving away some beauty swag this week. So please do that, or text tell me #talk to 866-320-6011. So anyway, that's it. We've got a lot of amazing things coming up. Great things in store for you. So And if you have anybody who you think would be really good to have on LDTV Talk, please just PM me. I'm looking for entrepreneurs who are making a difference and doing something really cool and following their own authentic self. So that's what's really, really important. All right. So love you guys. And we will see you soon.